Thanks for tuning in. Family's coming real soon, and I just wanted to get a little bit of an update video up. Last week, I had the video about writing, and this week I'm back to nutrition again because it seemed apropos, right? So let's dive right in. First of all, thank you so much for your subscriptions to my teeny little channel and for tuning in and your likes and comments and everything. I appreciate it so much. You just have no idea. It's such a catharsis to be able to speak freely like this. I think my poor husband and family have just about disowned me. They don't care, nor are they passionate about nutrition the way I am. And that's okay, that's fair, guys, right? I mean, why not have a place where I can rant and explore and brainstorm for people so that they have an idea of kind of where I'm coming from, and if there's anything they like that I'm doing that they can adopt. It's the way to go for sure. Today I'm going to talk about the iodine situation. And first off, I want to get right into the fact that back in the day, say 500 years ago or so, iodine was a mineral found in the earth where if animals grazed or the sea was harvested or there was vegetables grown past the agricultural timeline, of course, of 10,000 years ago to the current time, iodine was in the soil. And through pollution and depletion and over farming and all these practices that have been put in modern day in the last, I would say 100 to 300 years, iodine has become insufficient in our earth and our planet. But we have not evolved as human beings to be able to function perfectly without it, not at this stage. And that's why in the 1920s and 30s they started putting iodine in the salt and started encouraging everybody to have, what was that name of that thing? It's got the little girl with the umbrella on there. I'll think of it and put it in here, I think. If it rains, it pours. I don't know. Anyhow, that salt's been iodinized forever. Now, I did hear or read somewhere that it evaporates upon opening, but I'm here to say that I think it's safe and prudent to have salt that's been iodized. And I think that iodine's really critical. And I didn't used to believe in supplements, you guys. I never did. You know that. I was like, I can just get it from my food. Well, I'm here to say I can't. I can't just get it from my food. And that's not working out. I found that out when I first began doing supplementation with D3 and magnesium together in September of 23. And I've been doing that for, well, it'll be 6 months next month. And I've never had a hiccup with my digestion since I began that protocol. It's not perfect, you guys, but for my system, it's totally perfect. And that told me that trace minerals and micros are more important than I believed. And they have to be soluble. They have to be easily absorbed. They have to be bioavailable. They can't just be some kind of trash from a vegetable. When people say, oh, you can get this, you can get that from vegetables. Basically, vegetables should be avoided except in the rare case of something like a little bit of onion or garlic in your food. They're just not that good for you. Vegetables, all of them, without exception, have some kind of toxicity in them. And they're meant to have toxicity so that predators such as bugs and small animals will get sickened by eating them, and then they will avoid the plant, okay? And it doesn't matter that, so what? If a rat or mice or a worm or a gnat dies because it has this toxic vegetable, I'm a human being, right? I can do it. Well, why would you want to put anything toxic in your system at all? Why'd you want to take that chance? With an immune compromised person like myself and with my age and having been many years with my thyroid being messed up, I'm just abstaining from vegetables. Once in a while I'll have one. I don't mind that. Once every 2-3 months, I might have some carrots and beans and potatoes, to be polite at a friend's house or something like that. And I don't find it to be too objectionable, but I'm healing. So my body's in a stronger situation than it was before. I'm also supporting my thyroid, specifically the T3, with loads of fat. And I want to talk about that too. This is not just an iodine video, so stay tuned. I'm going to give you kind of a health secret and a weight loss secret that's really working for me now. I have enough information to feel confident about giving this out for you guys. And what I'm saying here is that so there's a little bit of history here. Logul's formula, Lugols, is something that was invented by the guy that holds that last name, a French dude, in 1827. He had found that the thyroid enlarging was a way for the thyroid to grow larger and capture more iodine in the system because there wasn't enough. And you can see from the year 1827, that's about when they started to notice people were really struggling. Iron deficiency, like I said, in the 20s and 30s was being explored as a huge problem. Everybody was saying throw it in the salt because there was huge belts throughout the United States and other parts of the world where people were horribly deficient and coming up with problems. And they were able to take blood tests and sort what it was that the problem was, and there was real consistent symptoms. And one of the huge symptoms of iodine deficiency is an enlarged thyroid, goiter, and hypothyroidism. And I have that. Hypothyroidism means I don't produce enough hormone, okay? Now, in a ketogenic state, our T3 is going to be classically lower because we need less iodine to make the hormones. In my case, mine's not only low, but my TSH is very high, showing a real need for my body to try to capture iodine. And I don't want my body to scrabble and gnash its teeth and run around trying to get nutrients. I just want to provide them. So I got this dropper, this Logul's dropper, and I'm having 4 drops a day in 1 8-ounce glass of water. I'm also having my 2 tablets of magnesium a night and my 2 tablets of D3 with a meal the next day. And then I'm also having this thyroid support that I got here in Mexico. It's got selenium and magnesium and potassium and everything. I just almost can't OD, guys. I'm okay, so don't worry. Anyway, the change has been nothing short of a miracle. I cannot even stress that enough. I cannot believe it. The only thing I can surmise was that iodine, that what comes first, the chicken or the egg? My thyroid isn't functioning. We know that now, okay? But if it's not functioning because of iodine, it is functioning now. It's not perfect, and I still have a little bit of scalp irritation, some scalp itchiness, very little though comparatively. My skin is about twice as good as it was. There's still some dry stuff. You can see it a little bit in my eyebrow and then a little bit around here. And the topography of my skin is still rough compared to where it was, say, 2 or 3 years ago before menopause seemed to trigger a big hormonal shift and cause a lot of trouble to suddenly surface. And now the iodine is apparently giving my thyroid enough support that the thyroid is starting to slowly work better. The first thing I noticed was about 5 or 6 days before I noticed that my joints and my ligaments were no longer killing me every day. Remember, guys, I told you that each day I would wake up in the morning and shuffle to use the restroom, and that if I was inactive for a couple hours doing my job, writing and things like that, that I would notice when I got up, it was just laborious and terrible. I hated it. It was awful. And I knew something was critically wrong because I eat very well. I eat a nutrient-dense diet with everything I need. I was supplementing. My irregularity had then been resolved. My hair was thick and awesome. I mean, my hair's never been better in my whole life. And the key there is to have 9 ounces of protein or greater every day. Bioavailable protein, guys, not a bunch of beans, okay? Try beef, okay? You want really thick hair? I can almost not wrap around a hair tie twice to get my hair in a ponytail. It's that thick. Never before my whole life. So those kinds of things were working great. Great nails, good color to my skin, great hair, energy was decent. That irregularity caused by the Hashimoto's was then resolved. So definitely the irregularity part of the Hashimoto's for my thyroid dysfunction was not having enough magnesium, and D probably in tandem is my speculation. It's the only thing that I changed. So I have to say, for me, anecdotally speaking, that changed it. Now the iodine, but I still had this nagging, really super dry skin and some eczema. My ears are 100%, guys. My ears are 100%. That was from diet. I'm from diet and magnesium and D alone. So the ear trouble was that. But I still had super flaky, dry skin, like ridiculously flaky and dry. And that's a huge sign of iodine deficiency. And so when I started doing the iodine supplementing in 5 days, my ligament pain and my joint pain was down by half, guys. At this stage, I think there's still room for improvement, I believe. But at this stage, I feel like it's almost, I'm like a regular, almost 57-year-old chick who has no health problems except for this autoimmune challenge, okay? And I mean, I finally now, I can turn my wrist, I can have more dexterity. I don't wake up with my fingers and my toes hurting, these random like huge pains in one of my toes. You know, I got tested for RA. We'll never know if I have it or not, I don't think, because I'm eating in such a way as to not cause inflammation. So my supposition there is that, you know, I'm going to get my RA factor tested again right before we go home, and my TSH and everything after doing high fat and iodine. I'm going to have that tested again, and I very much think that my thyroid number will be lower at the minimum. It might even be in normal range. If it's not, I don't have anything else to try. But we wanted to be exclusionary, we meaning Hubs and I. He got the thing after doing some research he thought would right the ship, would right my Hashimoto's and thyroid and autoimmune challenged ship in the right direction. And that's what I'm hoping for, because I find it interesting that none of the doctors address this. They don't just, you come in, you've got antibodies saying that your Hashi's, your TSH is off the charts, your T3 is too low, your T4 is struggling, and they go, oh, you got Hashimoto's. Okay, so why isn't the first protocol, the first classic defense against that is just giving the patient mineral support, magnesium, potassium, selenium, iodine, D3. Just nail the patient with that stuff. Start them off on a low to moderate dose and go from there. If there's some improvement, increase it. 1 + 1 is 2, guys. I don't know why that's not happening. I do suppose I do have a small idea of what's happening. I think it might be because there's no real money in that. Affirming the health and supporting the health with trace minerals and micros so that your functionality of your organs and all your systems work at optimum levels is probably not going to make you a patient. It's going to make you cured. And that doesn't help Big Pharma, that doesn't help the doctors, and they're all kind of colluding together. I'm not saying there's not some good doctors, but right now my faith is very low. There's a few online here that I watch on YouTube and everything, like Dr. Sean Baker and Chaffee and a few others that I think are really promoting health from the inside out, beginning with nutrition. They're not chasing the zebras and medicating your body. They're saying, get your nutrition sorted. And then after your nutrition is perfectly sorted and it's gotten some time, 6 months, guys, or more, then we can start worrying about what's hanging around. Like in my case, I've been taking the magnesium and D3 now for almost 6 months, and it sorted what it could. Okay, the regularity improved, my eczema went away in my ears, I started having lots of better function as far as like sleeping better, but I'm still dealing with some other things, guys. I still have the real flaky skin, I still have a little bit of joint and ligament pain. I'm willing to accept a tiny bit, a touch once in a while because of my age, but I'm not willing to spend or accept chronic stuff. Okay, no, I'm not willing to be overweight. I don't accept that either. And I don't accept the continuation of skin stuff, okay? So I want that resolved. That's very important for me. Now, getting back to the weight loss and the high fat thing. So I am fasting again, and I want to talk about that. I don't like fasting in the traditional sense, and I'll tell you why. Because it makes me hungry. My body's under enough stress trying to heal as it is. And so I am on the Stephanie keto person regime of 200 grams of fat a day and under 100 grams of protein. But what I was finding was that my body is very much not wanting to drop weight. And I've gained about 15 pounds, and I don't look like I have. And I'll tell you a few other things. This is a digression because I'm Tamara Rose Blodgett, the cheating carnivore no more, and I like to digress. Nobody's following me because of the quick point I'll make eventually. Anyway, I'm doing that, and that's great, but I'm unhappy with kind of maintaining and maybe going up a pound, losing a pound. I'm sort of just hanging around the 165-ish range, and I want to be about 150. That's good for me. And I do believe that there's been a lot of healing and repair that my body has done. It's done repair in bone density. It's done repair on the musculature. It's done repair with fat even. I know you guys, this is super gross, but let's just talk about it. My cellulite that I had was trying to kind of like migrate down the back of my leg. And I was like, oh my God, no. Anyhow, and a lot of women might just say, you know, I'm 50 something. I'm going to have, you know, cellulite. And I'm like, I don't mind a few dimples on my butt, you guys. I get it. Women should be around 25 to 30% body fat. That's just natural for us. We're not meant to look like men, and that's all right. And you can own that. I'm not talking about being a thick lover or a chubby lover or condoning being fat. I'm not gonna spare people's feelings here. If you're in the group that thinks fat's beautiful and curvy is actually 100 pounds overweight, you've gone to the wrong channel. I'm always going to support height, weight, proportionate, or thinner. That's just where I'm at. And if you don't have that physique, you need to work toward having it for your own health and longevity and daily quality of life. I'm not going to mince words. I'm going to be responsible for what I'm telling people. And if people are mad about that and they want me to be all soft and PC, politically correct, you've come to the wrong channel. Scroll on, okay? Because I have hard truths here. And I give them to myself first. I digest my own truths, right? I'm just looking at my hair. It's like everywhere. I'm really hot too. Anyway, so I think there has been some weight gain from bone density improvement, musculature. I am way less dimply, way less loose skin, way less all of that stuff. 100%. I know, because I've been at this weight before and I looked much chubbier than I do now. I'm also doing every other day bucks workouts and focus on the hamstring, because an underdeveloped hamstring makes the back of the leg look more dimpled and wrinkly and bad. So you just keep that hamstring strong, and not only does it help the buttocks, but it also makes the back of the leg look smoother. So it's kind of like it's like a hack, right? So I'm doing that. So probably 5 pounds or so is just strict healing weight, because my bones are more dense now because they've gotten a proper nutrition, and my skin has become more supple and nice, though I haven't noticed that extensively. I see myself every day, so I don't know. And what's the other thing too? Oh, my musculature for sure is better. And those things have been happening. So I would take 155 as my end goal. But I'm going to circle back around to what I'm doing now for fasting. I have done a lot of ADF and OMAD fasting in my time, and Stephanie, a keto person, advises against that. And I like that about her. And it's great that she was a pro skater before and everything. She's got the time, energy, inclination, and background in which to apply those things and feel great about them. And she's got the proofs in the pudding, guys. She's got a six-pack and everything. I mean, she is height, weight, proportionate, but strong and lean and not overly lean. Like, she just looks perfect, okay? But as a woman who's been married for 37 years and raised 4 children and has three daughter-in-laws and 2 grandkids and a third and a partridge in a pear tree, I mean, you guys, I do not have the time to devote to my body and even the mental construct that she would. And she may argue that and say, well, if it's important enough, you will. Well, let me give you my life for the last 37 years and see where you're at. Something would have had to give, and unless it was somebody else or all the other somebodies to do that, then that wouldn't be it. So it's impressive, but what's really impressive to me is that she's given us proof of what you can be with some application of stuff. Obviously, she spends a lot of time on her body working out. What do I mean by that? At least 5 to 6 times a week with a certain regime that gets her a certain result. And I don't know what those things are. She's never discussed that, but she's doing it, guys. Okay, she's doing it. You don't have the musculature of a 6-pack abs unless you've built it over time. You continue to maintain it and so forth and so on. And that's fine. This is not a put down. It makes it sound like I'm dragging her through the mud. I'm not. I love her. But I want to do things my way. And working out every day is not something I have time for. Now, I know she'd argue that, but I don't. My living is not made on YouTube. This is long game, guys. If I get some money from YouTube, it'll be in 3 or 4 years. I mean, it's not a moneymaker for me. It's part of my regime of what makes me feel good, and it has a catharsis quality to it. My hair's on my arms, driving me crazy. Back to the fasting. she doesn't advocate it because she worries about cortisol, adrenals, and other functions of the body feeling like it's starving and it's not doing well, and then it takes you away from the goal of being in ketosis. I'm actually going to change my little graphic up there on my YouTube to say ketogenic nutrition, because I agree with her. I think rather than being a carnivore or strict, I'm more of a ketogenic seeker. I want to be in ketosis. I want the fat to support my female hormones, my brain, all the things that might give me trouble in the future. I want a ketogenic nutritional way of eating. So that is my new bent, and it's kind of a combination of what I did when I first went keto, and then I went carnivore. I am not going to have an inordinate amount of protein, and the fasting I'm doing right now is strictly fat fasting. What am I doing here? Here's another no-no. Well, I'm going to decaf coffee, okay? But in the meantime, I'm having like 3 cups of coffee in the morning, and in each cup of coffee, I'm having 2 tablespoons of butter. So that's 6 tablespoons total. And then I'm having 2 tablespoons per coffee cup of cream, and then I'm having whipped cream on top of each cup, okay? And then when I get hungry in the afternoon, I'm having another one of those, but with decaf. And then when I get hungry in the evening, and I do, I'm having one that is the same at about 5. And then if I get a little hungry before I go to bed, I'll have like a pat of butter. And you might think, how do you do that? Well, it tastes pretty good. And then every few days, I'll have like a little dollop of, a little dash of cinnamon, because cinnamon's very high in oxalate, and so I try to stay away from using that overly. We are meant to be able to export some oxalate, but not on the level of what anybody does. That handful of peanuts, that's like every 10 days at most. That's where it's at. Cinnamon's top tier, so I have it like once a week, just a tiny bit on my whipped cream to change it up, right? And that's been very effective. I've done the fat fast twice, and each time I lost 1.5 pounds. And now that's not going to be typical. My body will try to insert homeostasis and stop that. Right? Because it'll be like, yeah, she's losing weight, blah, blah. What I like about it is that I haven't taken away any fats. I've just taken away the protein for the day. But even with that, I'm still getting 13 grams of protein through the butter and the cream consumption. Now I'm trying to get away from caffeinated coffee and trying to go to decaf. So Hubs is mixing the caffeinated and the decaffeinated together for the morning, and then we're having strict caffeine later in the day. He's doing different fasting. He's actually doing the Warrior's Fast, which is eating normally one day, which is, normal for us is basically ketovore or carnivore. And then that day he'll have like a handful of peanuts or some beefsteak and some cheddar cheese is what he'll do. And that works very well for him, and he feels real good on that. And then he'll have cream in his coffee that morning. But he's not the cream or the butter hog that I am, but he doesn't need it. He's not repairing Hashimoto's and thyroid and all this other stuff. I will say my cortisol is still not good. 2 things I know for a fact why it's not good is because my blood sugar was higher, was 94 and 96 respectively, with and without cream, okay? The second time I had it done, it was at 94, and I had nothing, no coffee, no water, no cream. I just woke up, went, and got the test done. So that tells me my cortisol is running high. I'm waking up quite frequently at about 2 in the morning. I'm hearing everywhere, Stephanie included, Steph, I guess she goes by, that cortisol will wake you up in the middle of the night if you've got any hypoglycemic tendencies, which I used to have before I went keto back in 2017. It will be 7 years this July that I've been ketogenic. She says that hypoglycemia might come in because, you've allowed yourself to get too low a blood sugar in the middle of the night, and your body wakes itself up for safety. It's like, ooh, we need a little cortisol. And that's why I've been waking up so not refreshed, but very awake, like bright and bushy-tailed, is because my body did a little cortisol spike in the middle of the night because it was concerned that I was going into kind of like a hypoglycemic, too low a blood sugar situation. And these things are bad for the body. So the thing I'm going to do now is before I go to bed, like medicine, I'm going to start having like a pat of butter. I won't love that because having a pat of butter by itself is not fun. What I usually do when I eat, and I'm going to put up a short here on the channel shortly, is I cut up my butter allotment for the day and I put it on a bread dish. Then I salt it, and I've got it all cut up into like bite-sized chunks, and then I just prick it with the fork and fork it in. And then I have a bite of my eggs, my avocado if I've got one that Hubs has gotten for me, and I'll have a little sip of water. That's kind of how I eat. And then the next time I'll have something like I'll bring the butter dish back out of the fridge. It's very good cold compared to warm. Warm's not bad if I have it in my coffee, right? And I'll have a little burger patty, and then I'll take that out and I'll fork in whatever butter goes perfectly with the burger patty till it's finished. And that's how I'll work that. And I do like that, and that works pretty good, but I'm really liking how I'm able to put a bunch of the butter. I put in like half a stick of butter throughout my coffee in the morning, and it gets a lot of my butter out of the way, a lot of my fats out of the way in a very pleasurable way. I've got another little hack that I got from Elizabeth Bright is to do a frother, and you get your butter in there and your coffee, and you use a tool to put it in there, and you froth up the butter and the coffee together until it's foamy, and it's like a buttercino. It's absolutely fantastic, especially if you can tolerate the butter taste, and I can. And my body's absolutely accepting it like fuel. Now, I don't know if I'm in ketosis for sure. I haven't tested it. I'll get a glucometer, I think, shortly, but until such time, I'll just have to guess that I probably am. But I am going to start having that pat of butter before I go to bed and see if it allows me to sleep through that 2 o'clock in the morning thing. It's like clockwork. If I go to bed at 9, 9:30, 8:30, I wake up at 2 almost every night. Well, at least half the nights of the week. I wake up with not like a racing heart, but kind of like this a little bit, and that's cortisol. I know it's cortisol. It's very easy for me to determine it is because it just behaves like it is, and it makes sense to me, and I want to get that out of my regime. I want my blood sugar to remain very steady. So toward that end, I'm going to have that pat of butter. So what are the things, let's recap, what are the things I want to resolve? I want to resolve that. So I want better sleep. I want better sleep. I want to be able to either not wake up, or if I wake up at 2, I'm not awake for 2 hours and then I go back to sleep. That's real sucky. I want the dry, flaky, crappy skin to go away. I want almost every bit, Christmas wish list, guys. I want almost every bit of the ligament and joint pain to go. I really do. And I want to lose weight, kind of in that order, okay? Kind of in that order. So I will be continuing the fat fasting, and every other day I will have just fat. I find it less objectionable than the true fast that I was doing, where I would just have maybe some cream in my coffee in the morning, have a couple cups, and then go the whole day. I'm also not consuming any alcohol right now because I'm really concerned about my liver just concentrating on ketones and converting those fats to fuel for my body, and that's where I'm at right now. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Sam, especially you, because Sam is one of my great followers, and she leaves comments with some frequency, and they're always well done, and she's given me ideas in different directions to try for my own health. And I really appreciate, not that I don't appreciate young people, but I was looking at my demographic, and it's finally changing to kind of where I thought it should shake out, which was women, 35 to about 70, because I have a message for young women. I'm their future selves. If they listen now, they can correct their health now, and they don't have to dick around with this later. And I'm also speaking to women that are my age, that are in the same kind of trouble or challenges that I'm having. I've got the rosacea's gone, the psoriasis is gone, the eczema's gone from my ears. I have just a little bit of flaring on my face now, okay? It's been a long journey, and it's not just carnivore. Carnivore is not perfect. It's not a cure-all. It's not a one-size-fits-all at all. There's a lot of experimentation in that. Obviously, it's been 7 years I've been doing this, and I still have not managed to maintain my weight. I still have gained weight. I've still had some issues. I still had to make some discoveries. But at the end of the day, I feel like my health is way better because I attempted all this. And that's what that's about. You've got to just go for it, guys. So anyway, thank you again for listening, and please subscribe to my channel and share it with others if you think I have a worthwhile message. And follow my other channel too if you want to talk about reviews and things like that. I've got a channel where it's even teenier than this one, where I just post my Amazon reviews up there pretty much every day, or at least 5 days a week, so people know what I'm buying and what I like. Anyhow, thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Love you.